bring everyone up to speed, I'm sure you've seen in the paper or on the news or on Facebook that as of Tuesday evening, the recycling center is currently closing its operations, primarily because we do not have the funds to pay staff or upkeep operations any further. So we had an emergency meeting on Tuesday evening. Jim and Carl were both there, in which we talked about options going forward, which are reflected in the sheet that you have in front of you. So the way I've kind of broken this down, up at the top is the value that we get for selling commodities and some of the tonnage that we've shipped for this year. And as you'll be able to tell, it's trash and it's not worth much. The thing of most value is aluminum at 55 cents a ton, or sorry, 55 cents a pound, but we only shipped 2,700 pounds of it this year. You need a lot of cans to be able to ship them. So things that used to be worth more, like cardboard in particular, has fallen more than half in price, so that its value is now the same as number one plastics, which 5 years ago would have been unheard of.
How much was it 5 years ago, about?
It was like 150 a ton. It was double what it's worth right now. And as you can see, the numbers on it are still relatively high. I mean, we've shipped 43,000 pounds of cardboard alone in the last 9-10 months. But the value of those things is not what they used to be. And so what we've seen in the past, as you'll remember, Tom, you've been around for this more than one time, is commodity prices would plummet. We would be in dire straits. We would come to the county commission, who would bail us out, and eventually commodity prices would bounce back and we would be able to recover. Over the last 5, 7, 10 years, commodity prices have not recovered. I think Dave was telling us beforehand that commodity prices peaked in 2024, have nosedived, and at this point are where they are right now.
I know you don't have a crystal ball, but think it'll ever go back up? Not ever in the near future?
I don't think in the near future, no.
Okay.
The problems are, there's a glut of supply, foreign markets are closed to us, the ones that we used to,
They used to accept materials from us.
they
don't take them.
others. So, yeah, there's a glut of supply, and as far as plastics go, oil prices have been pretty stable, so that makes new plastic fairly
cheap or cheaper than recycling plastic.
So, yeah, why get recycled plastic when you can just make it for the same price?
Yeah.
We had some paper mills close in the region. Just too much supply.
So down below the commodity prices is kind of a current rough breakdown of our finances. This is a snapshot in time, but for basically the last year, what we've seen, we bring in about $10,000 a month in the materials that we sell. Of the list that you have up above there, we pay about $10,000 for labor, which has actually come down in the list down below of things that we've done. We've reduced the size of our staff at the suggestion of the consultant that we hired from 12 to 8 in order to limit labor costs. But even still, with 8 people on staff, that costs us about $10,000 a month. So that breaks even. And then we have fixed cost overhead, which is a killer, which includes our mortgage, it includes insurance, utilities, those kinds of things, which run about $10,000 a month also, which leaves us at a $10,000 a month deficit. Down below that is kind of a broader scope breakdown of recycling generally. So within the last year, 5 recycling facilities in Kansas alone have closed because of these conditions. And some of those are operated by municipalities that are able to operate at a loss. Like ultimately, what it comes down to is the business model that we've been running, which is primarily collect trash and sell it, and that's the business model, doesn't work because the commodities aren't worth enough. Like that is a broken, failing model. The places that have been successful are able to offset those losses, either a trash company who has a collection, right, that runs them a profit, and then they're able to offer curbside and recycling services at a loss, or a municipality or a local government will run it because they're able to make up those losses. They offer it as a service, which is ultimately what it is. It is a service to keep material out of the landfill. It's not a great business model. And so what we're here today to talk about is options going forward of, if we want recycling in Southeast Kansas, it's gonna need to look different. There's gonna need to be some level of public support if it's going to exist, and talking about what you all are comfortable, how you want to approach that.
I get it.
There's a long list on there of all the things that we have done in the last 12 months to try to redirect the finance curve that we've seen. Among those, the highlights, again, as I said, reducing the amount of staff. We've brought on a bunch of people to help out in kind of doing assessment of operations to see where we can improve efficiencies. Douglas Stuckey, who's here with us today, has helped out considerably on the financial end. Dawn Flores has helped us with a lot of the operational stuff, helped conduct kind of an analysis of our operations management and operation, like how things go on the back end, to see where we can tighten things up. We rerouted the line. We opened up to Tuesday through Saturday, which didn't used to be the case. The big one was hiring a consultant to help us to get a picture of what we actually need to do to be in the black. We have not gotten a final report from them, as I note at the bottom of the document, that if the city and the county would like a final report that lays out explicit recommendations, we'll need to pay the consultant the remaining $30,000 of their fee to be able to get that. But the gist was what I laid out to you before, that it's going to require some level of public support. It's probably going to look different than it has. The model that we have offered has been pretty much the same for the last 25 years. We started off as a volunteer operation in a Dillon's parking lot, where people brought their stuff on Saturday mornings. The volunteers sorted it and then worked to ship it out. That's largely remained how we've done it. It's a very labor-intensive, hands-on process, which is why we have such high labor costs. But that labor ensures that commodities are sorted properly, which ensures that even the low prices that we get are as high as they are. That if you have stuff mixed together, if you have a bunch of stuff commingled, it becomes trash and it becomes worth less than it already is. So there are trade-offs to, one of the suggestions that we've heard repeatedly is doing a self-serve kind of thing, a drop-off, right? Like we do with Cherokee County, where we have a trailer with 5 or 6 different containers on it that gets parked in different cities around Cherokee County for the month, and people drop it off and then they bring it back to us to sort, and it is inevitably full of trash, and the guy that does it, who's already old and grumpy, gets even grumpier as a result. So there are advantages both ways to approaching that. So in a nutshell, that is where we are and what the prospects look like. We laid out at the bottom of the document 3 potential options for what things could look like. The first one is assuming that there is no public funding, what we'll do going forward, which is basically to reopen the line 1 or 2 days a week and charge every car that comes in $10 for the service of dropping off their stuff. To be clear, we have never charged for anyone bringing in materials. We've accepted donations. We've set up memberships where people are able to donate that way. But we have never charged at the gate for people bringing stuff in. But going forward, if we assume that we're not going to have any public funding, we will take a fee-based approach, which we expect will probably cut our current drop-off rate about in half. I suspect, like that's a total guess, but right now we get somewhere around 600 cars a week bringing in material. We expect it'll be about 300, which will both one, reduce the amount of material that we're getting, but also then the fees and donations that we're taking in as well. So given the rough math that we did with that, it would at best be a break even that we would be able to operate. But again, given
That's if you had 300 cars at $10 a pop.
Yes. And assuming that commodity prices stay the same, and assuming that we don't have to pay more for labor or insurance or our costs, which has not historically been the case. That has been a steady upward grind. So that is baseline option going forward. If nothing happens here, that is what we'll proceed with.
That's what we've been doing for the last.
Which is true, which is largely, the same as what we've been doing, would just be under more limited conditions. So the other two involve some level of public support or funding. The middle one, funding the existing model of how we've been doing things, is the recommendation that I think that we talked about previously, which is $5,000 a month from the city and the county jointly to cover the operating deficit of $10,000 that's accrued by our fixed costs and labor stuff. And ideally, as I think we've also talked about before, funding or providing an executive position. So Southeast Kansas Recycling has never had an executive director. For the majority of the life of the organization, Jim Triplett, the founder, was the de facto chief executive.
Right.
He did a lot of that work on his own. Since his stepping back within the last 5 to 10 years, we have lost that. And so we have an operations manager who oversees the day-to-day, but as far as strategic planning of making decisions about changing how operations flow or adding in programming or changing the way that we do things, we've had none of that. And so the board has tried to step in there, but I'm sure as you're all aware, having a board manage things is not a great way of operating. You really want a person with a set of expertise that knows how an operation like that is run and overseeing it day to day, which is really what we have lacked, and it is what we need. And so then the third option, which is kind of the swing for the fences approach, is to have the city and or county take control of the property entire, which I was looking at our asset list that Douglas had put together, which I don't know that you guys have, which is roughly $500,000. About $500,000 in assets with the building, the equipment, all of that, and then set up some kind of process where it is rented out or contracted out or run by an external entity, whether Southeast Kansas Recycling or someone else, if there was an RFP process or something like that, to do the day-to-day portions of it to maintain the savings there, given the low operating costs that we have. But maintaining the benefit of having recycling available.
Take the fixed cost operations.
Yes, eliminating the fixed cost would be the result.
You may have said this, Jeremy, but how many days a week is it open now?
Right now, we're open Tuesday through Saturday.
Tuesday through Saturday.
Well, we were, as of Tuesday, we're not open at this point.
Okay.
Which was a consultant's recommendation to get the lines.
Yes. Yeah, we had been, the limited time we've been open for Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, the line had been out the door onto the street a problem. And so in order to alleviate that, we opened up the tunnel every day that we're open, Tuesday through Saturday.
Wow, so it's getting used.
Well, I don't know if you saw pictures or video of the line on Saturday and on
That was
Tuesday.
just a mad dash because.
People heard we were closing, and the line was 3 blocks down Washington Street.
Is that pretty common or?
Typically, no, not that level, but it's not unheard of for it to be out onto the street and locked down. Like it gets utilized, and I know that social media is not a good barometer of where a community is at, but we've gotten a significant level of messages and support from people that don't want to see recycling go away within the region.
I've had several calls myself.
Jeremy, do you mind if I elaborate more what you was talking about?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
We told them that we're gonna do away with HH7, and Also, they kept their staff now to a person, the manager, and one assistant to help.
Right now, we furloughed all but 2 of the staff, the manager and
And,
the person.
they will, open now, I'm just saying what we've discussed.
Yep.
Online. Would be open on Friday and Saturday with volunteers. And what we're trying to do is try to get this thing going without subsidy from the county or the city, and just see if they can make it, and then, you know, go from there, because right now, as Dave was telling us that night, it's, you're really rolling the dice to see if people, but one thing I want to add, I had a lot of calls and seen a lot of people, they do not mind paying either, you mentioned in that meeting we was with, you talking about you had a club, in other words, people would give so much, but apparently, way Jeremy's talking, that's not in effect.
So we had a membership program, but then looking at the cost, given the price of commodities over the last 10 years, the cost of membership that we had set does not cover the cost to run the thing.
But going on with people paying, I bet you I had 20 people tell me that they don't mind paying, you know, donations. I think that one day or 2 days you collected just donation, $900 and some odd dollars. The people did skip. There's people that love to recycle, and I feel if it gets out there, I think people would more glad pay, like you say, $10, you know, or what have you, to recycle, because they got a passion for it. And I'd like to see us try that. And, you know, like I say, did you ever figure out how much inventory you have in the building that you get rid of?
I don't know that we've calculated that. I mean,
I was there, yesterday, and shipment of clothes, and just taking a look around, I'm sure there's, including that shipment, just eyeballing, I'm not the expert, but I think there's another month of operating costs in there, so 2,000. Yeah, if we were able to get full shipments together, we get penalized for.
which is part of the problem. You have to collect enough to fill an entire truck, otherwise you're paying for the empty space on the thing. Which is why things like aluminum, which are worth so much, don't get shipped out very often, because you have to fill the truck with them in order to.
And the other thing that we discussed was, maybe renting out them 2 buildings, there's 2 or 3 buildings that's empty. Don't count the one we got, cause we're gonna empty it out, I hope, and do something with it. Is there a chance?
I think it's 2.
Storage bays in the old reuse store.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many stores
There
are
is.
there?
Oh, well, that be 3 buildings, the store is a separate building.
Yeah, so three buildings if you count the old store. I don't know, they're not in good shape. I don't know what I would store in there if that were.
They would certainly need, maintenance improvements.
But I mean, trying to generate, you know, some revenue for you, try to see if it's, you can go without,
Yeah,
I mean, standalone, maybe that's the word I wanna use.
my only hesitation there is, and I think we're gonna try for that as well. I haven't spoken to the board about it, but I don't see why we wouldn't, except for this one thing. We have got a criminally underpaid operations manager doing everything. And now she's gonna be a property manager too. On top of all the other, she's doing not just operations, she's doing all the administrative stuff. She's doing payroll, she's, contacting the vendors and trying to get the pay. And we're putting more on her plate again for the same pittance.
Do you think, Dave, that you could get a property manager, like one of the realtors that manages houses and stuff for people, you know, and then they get a percentage of it?
I think that would be a good idea.
I mean, I don't
How
think
much they charge, like 10%?
Maybe they could help us price it too.
yeah, that's very true. I mean, it's just sitting there now, unless it will cut you down on your utilities on each one. And I know you said a lot, Jeremy, and I agree with you, but I'm just adding a little more to it that we discussed that night, and see if that's still something that you guys are considering.
I mean, if there's a way to, bring in revenue, I think that we be open to it.
But all the people that called me or seen me, they did not once balk, and they're the ones that brought it, everyone that brought it up said, I don't mind paying, because they enjoy doing it. You know, recycling, so. And so, I don't know, Jay, is the city thinking about putting on another truck to curbside recycling?
Not unless we have a place to take it to sort it. We're not gonna do that part. We'll pick it up, we could do that, we would just add a fee to the current bill that we charge for curbside recycling.
Well, not,
The fee you're talking about, would that go to the city of Pittsburgh, or would that go to recycling?
Well, if we give it to them, we have to give them some money to manage it. Now, understand, that would be a substantial increase in what they handle right now, all right?
I was gonna say, if we were to, the issue with going the no public funding route is in order to be able to prepare to do, because that is a revenue stream,
Hey,
right
Jeremy,
there.
can I just talk, I mean, just for now, you know, I'm not saying no, but just to see if it can, you know, stand alone by itself, by the city, you know, talking about it, recycling. No, I shouldn't say it's not off the books yet on that part.
Well, my point is, if we're to get to a point where we can bring in a steady revenue stream, such as a contract with the city to drop off materials, we're going to need some level of investment on our end to prepare for it. Like the tunnel setup that we have right now could not accept material from the city. We would have to set up a new arrangement. Yes, a sorting operation, which we do not have, one, the funds or the capacity on our own to do at this
I
point.
guess it's still what you're collecting, still not worth anything then.
Correct. Yes.
So,
In order to shift to a new model, we would need some level of
support.
Yes.
Jeremy, what was your membership program? How was it structured before?
So the way we had it was, different funding levels. I think a member, single person was 30, family was 50, and then up from there for people that wanted to give more, like 100, 500,
And that was
1,000.
a year or a month?
That was a year.
Year.
Yes. As I said, that did not cover the cost of
Do you know how many members you had roughly?
100 and something, 100 odd. That's been pretty common.
You don't have to be a member to drop off.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
Right.
I'm just-
No, it's an optional. I want to
I
support.
was talking with Commissioner Blair a couple of weeks ago, and I thought that was a hell of an idea you had.
Well, we
I
brought
don't know
it
if you
up.
wanna share that with.
I mean, the first time we did this, during the trash wars.
Yep.
The idea of partnering with, the trash trucks in the fundraising efforts and doing the sponsorship via that route. And it may not even come with services, and I hate that, but to be honest, that, like Carl said, some people feel good and actually want to recycle, some people care about what their neighbor thinks. And the whole idea is if I pay a membership fee and I think the first time we talked about it years ago was $3 a month, and I get a sticker I put on my trash can, depending on who it is, that $3 a month that I pay goes to the recycling center. Without any recycling attached to it at all, just the fact that I support recycling because I got a sticker on my trash can that everybody sees when they drive by. But also looking at different, you said some things that I'm just trying to do some fast math here, but
Yep.
everywhere else that goes for fundraising efforts, individuals one way, but you only get so much out of individuals or families. The corporate ones are where you get your money.
Correct. Yes.
And if you start that competition that, you know, hey, and it was good timing then because it was trash, they was trying to take over all the trash routes, to be honest with you. Whoever was on a bite, everybody won in. Just looking at the corporate, you can get, and it sounds like a lot, but I'm trying to think of people I know that do this because I think it's 100% tax deductible. It's $100 a month for a corporate sponsor, going to $50 to cover one of those revenue streams you're talking about, $5,000 a month. Now, that's work to get that to happen.
I think, yeah.
I mean, that's not, going out and trying to find 50 people that are gonna sign up for a year is not really easy.
So along those lines, we did have a business route that we ran with the truck that the county was one of them.
Yes.
That we would come and pick up cardboard, shred material, that kind of thing, and charge a certain amount for. I think we had 40 or so on that list. which operated break even is probably pushing it, but there's another recycling service based out of Joplin that offers the exact same thing for a third of what we
What you were doing.
charge. Basically, like we approach businesses and they're like, we can't afford. Like we charged $100 a month for weekly pickups for a business, and the one out of Joplin charged $20 for 3 months of weekly pickups. Like that, we can't compete with
Well,
that.
and I'm not sure if this works at all, but corporate sponsors, so if I pick somebody like Trotcan, let's say, if that's somebody that buy it and say, we're gonna be a corporate sponsor, and somehow, some way, you know, an employee has, you know, I'm a corporate sponsor, so one of your benefits is you get something and, not say they have an inside loop, but they get a card or something they show at your tunnel to show that we're corporate sponsors, or a corporate sponsor gets 10 of those cards. However I'm just thinking if you get somebody to pay you every month that may or may not use the service, I agree, you have the route, there's too much overhead, you got too much.
Yep.
And you're going to collect
Yeah,
stuff that you
that's-
can't really get your money back anyway, so you're spending money to lose more.
Correct. Yes.
You need to figure out a revenue stream sounds bad, but free money, get people to give you money because they want to support the service, or
They
some of them
wanna
really
see it
use the
stay open.
service, but they may not use it. I look at it as gym membership. There's about 1,000 people that have gym memberships and use them once a year, or maybe twice a year, but they pay it every month. But you have to have the
Right.
intrinsic thing that, how did you get that sticker on your trash can? You know, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think.
Just an idea. I'm just trying to figure out a way.
What would make that work is being able to push it, to have some way to rally support for it.
Yeah, and like a lot of ideas that we've heard, like I love all the ideas that have come up from the community, from the city, the county. Everybody has got these great ideas, and I love the brainstorming that's happening here, but it always takes me back to that executive director. As a board member, I mean, we've done an awful lot. We've got a list here, but that was too slow. A lot of those things are too slow for my taste. And there's more things we could have done. There's more ideas we could implement. We needed professional executive leadership to make these things happen. We are volunteers, not necessarily experts. I personally couldn't sell water to a dying man in the desert. So fundraising for me, I tried to go out with the flyers and get more business route customers and didn't get any. I really want that. I really want that executive. We don't necessarily have to fund one for us. Maybe we could borrow one of yours. I don't know. Just on a part-time basis, 0.25 FTE of a director. I don't know, because we'll have a heck of a time finding one.
Dave, have you, reached out and do some investigation? Is there anybody out there that's got knowledge of, recycling that would do it on a part-time basis?
I haven't really,
I mean, we'd opened a position.
we
We'd opened a position, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Had basically hired internal because no one else took it. It did not work out, and we ended the position last year. Like it just, the consultant, so when we brought the consultant in, they were like, the person managing this, the executive level that we're talking about, would be paid $80,000 a year, which again, our operations manager makes a third of that. So again, not the capacity, not the knowledge, not the expertise to do like that. That is the level that would be required to manage what we're describing here. Because again, a board of 6 volunteers, many of whom Dave and I have full-time jobs, right? And cannot spend a lot of time running around doing a lot of this stuff, that we need a person to be able to do it.
The current operations manager certainly knows her stuff inside and out, but
As far as day-to-day running the facility, I'm not saying that that's been a problem. It is the what we're talking about, the going and doing fundraising, the reaching out in the community, the doing PR work, the
Changes, the programs.
right, strategic planning and all of that. None of that is happening because that's not what the job is. The job has been managed to make sure the place doesn't fall apart on a day-to-day basis.
You know, I was telling you, I talked to a lot of people, and there's a couple of them said that they don't recycle, that they'd like to do a donation for a tax write-off for a donation. And I just wonder how many people out there, since it's getting close to the end of the year, that would do a donation, because you're a nonprofit, and you know, you can give them that.
I mean, we do have an endowment with the Community Foundation, and I mean,
Do you think about maybe,
Let me throw this
Right
out.
now?
If someone wants to put me in touch with one of those people, I have no connection to that kind of person. But if somebody wants to put me in touch with them, I'll certainly
And
try.
that option is available on our website any day.
Yeah, that too, but I could, I would be happy to personally reach out, if I had some kind of networked connection.
yeah, that's been a lot, because again, we don't have an executive level person going around doing that, and that's what would be needed to court donors, to talk to people with the big money that would be able to go and talk to businesses, frankly, right? Of doing that setup of just having a volunteer board do it we've tried, and it has been a significant challenge, for sure.
Jeremy, have you been to city of Pittsburgh, Frontenac, Girard, to the area towns and see if they had any interest in?
So one of the things that the consultant that we'd hired had done while they were here was going around and talk to the various cities in the region to talk about whether a similar model to what we do in Cherokee County, where we drop a trailer off, they bring it to us and then pay a fee monthly, which again it's not free money, but it's much closer than like a business route, right? Because it's low maintenance. And there was some interest in that, but no solid, yes, we want this, let's get this organized and set up. I mean, that's certainly a possibility. And thinking about if we do move, I would, and I think the board would, like to see, again, solid revenue streams like curbside recycling from the city being brought in. Being able to offer more of that to people not in Pittsburgh, right? Because right now, if you want to recycle, you have to bring your stuff to us, right? But if there is a way to make it accessible to people in Girard or Frontenac or Arma or wherever, right? Or, I mean, frankly, we have people coming in from outside of the county bringing us stuff, right? But and we truly are a regional facility, and so if we could work with Cherokee County or Labette County or Bourbon County, right, of neighboring places where there's also interest in recycling, we would be happy to do so. But again, that requires some level of investment that at this point we don't have the capacity to do.
Talk a second about the large bequests that we had and what it bought us time.
Sure, yeah. So we did, along the line of big donors, have one last year. We'd had a $250,000 donation from an estate that wanted to provide to recycling. With that money, we helped to purchase the new baler that we did alongside grant funds. We used it to initiate the consultant process and pay for part of their fee. And then essentially it propped us up for a year. It was a lifeline that offset all of the negative stuff that we'd seen. Without that, we basically would have been here doing this time last year.
A year ago.
Yeah.
Well, what's your intent now? Are you gonna go with 2 days a week and get your inventory cleaned out, try to rent the buildings out?
That is,
Because in the meeting, you said you probably could make it.
I don't know, I got one board member saying no, I'm nodding yes, so we have not discussed.
Yeah, it's not been, it would need to be approved by the board. whatever we did. And
Right now, it's shut down, get rid of stuff we got,
right,
wind down operations.
yes.
I think if we try to piecemeal little things together, it's gonna fail. I don't see us, we're just gonna repeat the same sort of slow death. I think we've got, to be able to go further, we need support, we need help. You know, even being able to open 2 days a week, I think we can't afford it. I don't think we'll be able to afford it. Our insurance bill, our expenses are too high.
The fixed cost of that, yeah.
So I think option one to me is like, we're gonna shut down. We'll take care of household hazardous waste, get everything out of there, do what KDHC requires. Get rid of what we have, try to clean the place up, and then sell it off.
And that's the
Bankrupt,
bank's problem.
we're done. Yeah. That's option one, that's the bottom option. And then there's all these others that, you know, so the next option would be this thing, getting some support so that we can open it back up, get started, start some of these new things like getting the buildings ready to rent. That's not gonna happen soon. And so that's, you know, we're gonna need help to get even that much done. And then these other options that are, I think, very realistic, but it's gonna take more support and more time. But I'm one board member, so.
Right. Well, so one of the things that the consultant had told us again preliminarily is that successful centers are supported by public funding, that there are no privately existing recycling operations that are not attached to a trash service or a municipality. Like that doesn't exist. Like Jim Triplett was fond of saying, we're the last remaining nonprofit recycling center. There's a reason for that. It doesn't function. It's incredibly hard to do.
And I would like to say something. I'm Nancy Scott. I'm on the board. And I've been on the board thanks to Jim Triplett, who invited me for 5 years. And I am so impressed with the board. I mean, these two we are all volunteers, but we have written grants couple a year. We get Pritchett grants, we get KDHE grants. Recently, we had a Pritchett grant for storage. We didn't need storage anymore. So we turned that over to improve lighting, LED lighting in the community at no cost. Well, a minimal cost. We had to rent equipment to change out the lights. But that's all coming from volunteers. And I will continue to do what I can. But I'm a volunteer, you know, I don't have the expertise that we really need to really move it forward. We've done, I think, a great job, but we're kind of at our end here because we're limited in what we can do.
Yeah, we had talked, Stephen had given us some input, late last night over the paper with the options that you have, in front of you. And he made a very good point. It's not really a multiple choice so much as it is a spectrum of options. And I think what he's saying at the very bottom end of the spectrum is we close and go bankrupt. And the bank takes our assets, which we would much rather see go to the city or the county. But, we have a $130,000 mortgage. We've got a book value of $500,000 in assets, never mind the market value. So I think that's a pretty good deal. I would take that. But outside of that, I understand that can't happen today. I think that I think the board is going to, I don't think any decisions are going to be made today from him. So I think the board, we're going to have another emergency meeting next week, and we need to show good faith effort to you. We have the means to do so. I didn't think that we would last week, but we've gotten some accounts receivable coming from the county. We've got a lot of recent shipments, so we can try. But I want you to be thinking about what level of support we can get from the city and county, because even if this does get us even, it won't be for long if things keep trending the way they are, with the decrease in commodity prices, the increase in the overhead expenses. If those things keep trending the way they are, which I don't see why they wouldn't, we're gonna be back again. So if we want a long-term solution, I think public support at some level is gonna be necessary at some point. Just as an example of falling commodity prices, plastics. Number one, plastics are now 3 cents a pound, same as cardboard. They took a whole nosedive this year. And number twos now are negative. We have to pay to ship out number twos. We used to make money off of those. We used to be like, yeah, ones and twos, give us your ones and twos. Now we're paying for twos.
Yep, ones is it.
So it's gotten really bad. And I don't see that trend reversing anytime soon. Maybe if you want to be, take a business savvy approach to it, the public support, if things do turn around, maybe there could be some kind of revenue sharing in the future. If we become profitable, we're a nonprofit, we're not trying to keep profits. We could return some of that if things turn around and it does become profitable somehow in the future.
I know we're getting, close to the end here. You still agree we're gonna do large item drop-offs? Is that still?
I mean, it's with the 2 employees that we have, it's my understanding that we would be able to do it at least as long as we're open, so.
They said it was possible.
Yes.
We might need a volunteer out there to kind of direct things.
But yes, I mean, as long as we're not bankrupt, yes, we should be able to do that.
Okay, because that was kind of brought up, and I was just gonna make sure that we're good for that till we find out what we're gonna do there.
Yep, I believe so.
In terms of your overhead, I mean, like the mortgage on your loan or whatever you wanna call it, what is the payment of that, do you know?
The mortgage?
The mortgage is $1,400 a month. And there's 130,000 remaining roughly.
And then, do you know your other?
The big one is insurance.
Insurance,
Insurance is about $3,500 a month.
Wow. And that's for your employee and your property, I assume?
Yeah, workers' comp, all the property.
Good.
Two
Yeah, that's a big one, that's.
1 year.
And that was your 2 trucks too, I believe, wasn't that included in that?
Yes. The equipment, the trucks, I think just the box truck, I think the county covers the.
We have a detailed email that would spell out.
Okay.
Yeah, that helps.
Oh, you're on my list too. I got more information, from the insurance company today, kind of gaming out different scenarios and what we could cut, which turns out to be not much because of,
It's still there.
the mortgage and, contractual obligations and,
Yes.
all that. But I shared it with the board this morning. And we're gonna distill that and get that to you and, to Jay and Aaron.
Hey Jay, what's your thoughts on all this? I have, what's the city?
I'm behind her.
The biggest users, so.
Sure, well, obviously, you're not interested in seeing the recycling center closed down. I think there's some, appetite in our community for the continued recycling. But the reality is, are recognized as not money-making operations. We're going, we would like to see some of this, the original purpose was diverting, left from the landfill. As it stands right now, I mean, if they close, we'll just pick it up at the curbside with our trash service, and all the other trash services will have to pick up what we have now, so. I think our commission in general, has looked to the county to take a lead, and we would match it, right? I think I've got a commitment from them, in the past to do that. I think it's still standing. I think they still do that.
So they would match what we would do.
So, that's, it's just not something that they're willing to take the lead on.
What do you think, Jay? I mean, just talking with the information that you gathered here today about doing, recycling, do you think it'd be profitable?
Well, it's not really profitable, is not really the word.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll pay for itself.
Sustainable.
We have because we stood up a trash utility last year, we're more able to do something like that. We would have to, it really is a different kind of thing than just regular trash pickups. It would be a different kind of, we'd have to buy a different kind of vehicle, hire a different kind of staff, but we think we can do it. Typically, when you do curbside recycling, you get about a quarter of your people to participate in it, which is not no small amount. We're talking 2,000 potential households.
Sure.
Curbside recycling, which is a significant increase with what they're handling now. It would really require a much more organized sorting operation, which is no small investment. That's the concern that our commission feels.
No, apparently you would charge a fee to do curbside.
We would. We would just add it to our bill like we have right for trash service right now. And you have to sign up for it,
Yeah. So do you think that's possible, the city could, to give them maybe more, items to bring in, but there again, if they're not worth nothing, you're kind of back to zero.
That is the problem.
That is a real problem.
That really is what it boils down to. And you can do a whole bunch, lose money faster.
Listen, that's a good thing to say.
Yeah, that's kind of where it is. It just, the scenario is because the main China doesn't get the recyclables anymore, the values are just complicated. But again, I think there's some appetite to see it go on, but it's taking on the whole recycling effort with the sorting center and managing all of it. They're not ready to do it, and my commission isn't ready to do it either.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
We could get ready to do it.
Yes, and we would like to see that.
I just wanted to add, I really don't, I've been a volunteer, but I do understand that there are some facilities where the curbside is picked up, all intermingled, picked up, dropped off, and then the recycling facility ships it out to another, a MRF, right?
Yes, it essentially acts as a transfer station.
Right.
Yeah, to another sorting
So
facility.
it's set up to do that. It may not be set up to do the sorting on a higher volume, but it possibly could be set up to receive and ship out to MRF. And that is the model for some other communities.
Would there be not to say a fee, but, money involved there where you would get paid to send it?
Or would it cost?
I mean, it would probably be funds from the contract receiving the stuff with the city. Like, I'm not familiar with it, but again, we've gotten so much value out of what we've done because we have sorted it. If you mix it together, it becomes
Let's try
worth less. I imagine it would be, that would be part of our cost is shipping it out, that we wouldn't get anything for it.
But these are really big facilities that can handle, they may need more to make their facility functional, to make it profitable, even though they make very little. But the more they have, the more they make. And there's many of these around. I think Tulsa has one, Springfield, St. Louis, Kansas City. They're really large, multi-million-dollar machines that, have magnets and blowers and ice sorters, electronic sorters.
I toured the one up by Topeka, they're opened up, and it's just they dump it, and then it comes down on a conveyor,
Yeah,
and they just pick it up. I say this is where you would take the.
yeah, exactly.
Most likely, yes.
And that's less, I mean, we wouldn't have to sort it. I mean, there may be some general sorting of trash or something, but it would require a large baler that we don't have yet. That would bail it, ship it off as is, pretty much to some large facility.
Well, we've got Frontenac Bear here, we can ask him. Sorry, Steve.
Welcome to the meeting.
Now we're talking, recycling,
Yeah,
and, we're just trying to see how the interest is out there. I don't mean to put you.
no, you're
You
perfectly
just
fine,
mean Jack,
yeah, yeah, it's welcome back from Cancun, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a really unfortunate deal, I hate to put that, I've had, it was brought up at our city council meeting, and we put some funding towards it and stuff, and I don't know which way to go with it, I hate to, without having control of the situation as a city, and having, access to all their, what they're doing. It's hard to just funnel money into a losing proposition if that's what it's going to be. So, I don't know.
Well, it sounds like the goods that they sell off, it's not bringing anything in. Really, the only thing we're accomplishing is keeping it out of our landfills.
Yeah,
Yep.
Which is important.
It sure it is. Yeah. Yes, it is. All right, well, I'm sure we'll meet again before.
Sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
All right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
This meeting you're gonna have next week, hey Jeremy, this meeting you'll have next week, is it open to the public?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be one of our board meetings, so.
Yeah, Tuesday, 5:30.
Tuesday, 5:30 at the library.
At the library.